Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We got a fun one for you today. This was requested by somebody. They wanted to have two call to action modules. They wanted them to appear at different times, one after the other, but they didn't want the buttons to appear until a few seconds after they've loaded. So that's what we've done here. If I refresh this page now, we've initially got the hero section, then we've got the call to action module. Then the button is going to fire in. Got this other one, and the button's going to fire in on that one too. If I redo that so you can see it again, we got a 2-second delay on ours today. 2 seconds between each module then, and then the button's going to float in, and the button's going to float in on the one next door. And of course, this is totally responsive. It'll work on tablet and mobile also. Really easy to do. Got to do a little bit of coding, but as usual, I've done it all for you. So let's get started. I'm going to enable my Visual Builder. Let's roll down to where we were working, which was just down here. Okay, well, I'm going to delete these and we'll start from scratch. So I've got a section here, the blue tab. Inside that section, I've got a row, the green tab with 2 columns in it. I'm going to hit the little dark button to add a new module. I'm just going to use a call to action for mine today so we can animate the button in. I'm going to leave everything just as it is. Put your title in there, obviously, what you want the button to say. Button won't show up until we put a link in for it down below here. And obviously put your content in here. So I'm going to go down, open up the link. In the button link right here, I'm just going to put a hashtag for a link placeholder. As soon as you do that, the link turns up then. Fantastic. If you want the whole module to link to somewhere else or even the same place, you can put another link right there. And always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site to a new website or somebody else's site, open it in a new tab so your site will stay open. Great. Now let's just change that background color. I'm going to pop a black in. And I'm going to take the opacity down slightly so we've got a hint of that background showing through. Something like that will work for me. Obviously, just yours to taste. Great. Now we've got to do a little bit of coding, and don't let that put you off. It's really easy. And as usual, I put the code down below the video. So we're going to go over to the Advanced tab. What I actually want to affect today is the button itself, not the whole module, but just the button within the module. So if we go to our custom CSS, I happen to know that the class name for that button is etpb button. And if you're not sure, go to module elements here. You'll find promo button. And any of these, the title, the description, you can target individually. If you hit the little question mark just after it, it'll give you all the class names. And you only need one of these, but I'm going to use the et_pb_button. So let's go back now. We're going to create an animation to do this in the freeform CSS. So to target this module, all we need to write is selector. But I want to target that button, and we know what the class name is, etpb button. Class names have a dot or period in front. et_pb_button. Great. We can open and close some curly brackets now. We can affect just that button without affecting the rest of the module. Well, I'm going to create an animation which is going to stop it from coming in for several seconds, and then it'll fade in for the last 3 seconds or so. So I'm going to say animation, colon, and we're going to give it a name. Let's give it btnfd for button fade. Call yours what you want, but it wants to be unique. I want mine to take 10 seconds. Now we've told it what we want it to do, we've got to create this animation called btnfd. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to drop down below this curly black bracket. We're using keyframes to do this today, so I'm going to say at keyframes. Then the name that we gave it, which I just copied, btnfd. Now we can open and close some more brackets, curly brackets, and tell it what we want to do. Well, we've defined a 10-second timeline. So when it starts, when the page loads, which would be 0%, beginning of second 1 of our 10 seconds. We can open and close some more curly brackets. I don't want to see that button at all. So I'm going to say opacity, colon, 0. The button's still actually there, but it's just invisible. Now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop down, paste it twice. I'm going to say perhaps at 70%, I still want it to be 0. So when the page loads, beginning of second 1, you're not going to see that button. At the end of second 7, 70% mark, it's going to start fading in because I'm going to make this last one 100%, which is on the 10 second mark. I want this button to be fully visible, which is opacity 1. So if we've done everything correctly now, this should work. So let's take a look at it on the front end, and we'll come back, add a new one, redelay it, and show you how to do that. I'm going to save that. I'm going to save my page changes. Let's exit the Visual Builder, and we'll roll on down to where we were working. And there's a page load, no button. After about 7 seconds, that button's going to fade in. There it is. And it's going to stay there. Perfect. So that's our first module, but I want that to actually fade in itself. And then I want the next one to be delayed and fade in, and the button perhaps take a little bit longer. So let's do that. We'll re-enable the Visual Builder. We'll roll on back down to where we were working. Let's duplicate this module. Well, in fact, let's put a time delay on it first. So I'm going to go into the module. I'm going to go to Design. Right at the bottom, you'll find Animation. I'm going to use a simple fade on mine. As you can see, it faded in there. I think 1,000 milliseconds, 1 second's long enough for the fade. You can make it longer if you want to. I'm not going to put any delay on this one initially. Well, let's maybe put 1 second on this. 1,000 milliseconds. So it delays for a second and then it'll fade in. Now, if we copy this whole module, 2 little squares to duplicate it, drag it across. Our second one here, I'm actually going to delay this for 5 seconds. Because it's already got the fade in there. Let's take that animation delay, so it's not going to come in for 5 seconds. So that's just before this button appears on this one. And for the actual button on our new one here, I don't want it to appear at the same time as our other one, so I'm going to up the value on the timer for that one. So over in Advanced Custom CSS, where we wrote that, this one, I'm going to change that 10 to a 15. Just so they're staggered a little bit, and obviously adjust to taste. So we've done this all correctly now. This all should work for us. It's going to load the background. A second later, it's going to load this one in. At 5 seconds, it's going to feed this one in. 7 seconds, that button's going to come in. And a few seconds later, this button's going to come in. So let's check it out. I'm going to hit the little purple button. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And we'll exit. Roll on down to where we were. There it is. There's nothing initially. There's our first one. Second one should come in. Button's coming in. And the button should come in on that second one. Fantastic. Just roll that one more time. So we've got the image first. Then our call to action module. Then the other one. First button. And second button. Perfect. And you can adjust it however you want, but that's a great little animation. So I hope that's answered that question of how to get your button to fade in on your little call to action module. Really easy, and as usual, this code will be down below the video. I would suggest you write the code though, because it's very easy to do, and it's a great thing to learn if you want to take your editing skills to the next level. CSS is very easy, and as I mentioned earlier, really easy to learn too. If I can learn it, anybody can learn it. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. If you've enjoyed this today, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.